It's Tracy, and today I'm going to be doing a real talk. I have like my EDH decks, they're all like scattered out in front of me. I have like all of my EDH decks here. It's kind of like inspiration to kind of do this video because I was thinking recently, because Paul and I played some EDH, and you know, we get into like conversations about magic cards because I mean, that's just what we do, and he's been like primarily the person who I've been playing EDH with recently because I haven't been going to my game store, so I'm just kind of like, you know, and this just I think makes sense, is that you're going to cater your decks and you're going to build your decks around like your play group. So like if you know you're going to be playing 1v1 versus playing against 3 people, your deck's going to look different. I mean, you're going to be building your decks differently and you're going to be substituting cards out differently. And so I've been kind of like thinking about what direction I kind of want to go in, because I was saying how I don't want to build a new deck until I'm confident enough that I'm doing something different from what I'm already doing. So if you're new to my channel or whatever, you don't know, I guess since I have them all laid out here, I'll just kind of go through them. First, I have my baby Tasigur. I love this deck. This deck is super fun. It's very aggressive, and what I really like about it is that it has a lot of tutors, but like I don't tend to like get the same thing all the time. I kind of try to change it up, but it's not just about like tutoring, it's a lot about graveyard recursion. I have a ton of ways of getting stuff back from my graveyard, which is really fun, which is why I tend not to do that in my other EDH decks, because I try to do stuff that's very different. I try not to run the same cards. Sometimes there's just inevitable, there's some cards that are like my total staples that like you will pry from my dead hands because I refuse to let go of these cards because I just love them. You know, I have my staples, like everyone has their staples of cards that they just always run. And I'm not talking about things like Soul Ring. I'm talking about like, you know, like that's a basic card, like I run that in every deck, like duh, who doesn't, kind of thing. But Tasigur is great, I love this deck, it's so fun. In terms of like tweaking this deck and kind of what I'm thinking, my goal kind of is trying to get this deck kind of like to be like foiled and to look very pretty, just because this deck is like my total baby and I'll probably never take it apart. And kind of what I really like to do is get some really nicer lands for this deck in terms of like fetches and shocks. Just because, again, I think this deck is just worth it, and I just want this deck to be very, like, visually pleasing. I do have quite a bit of foils in this deck, and I have, quite a bit of, like, promos and Japanese cards and, like, cool things, because it's just what I like, so I definitely want to try to get this deck eventually. I'm not saying all of it foiled out, but I'm saying, like, cards to look cool. That's how I, like, define it. That makes sense. Okay, then we have another deck, which is Angels, and Angels is a deck that I have since my commander, and I have, by the way, like the coolest sleeves in the world. I'll show them to you. I get compliments on these sleeves actually all the time. They are fantastic. I love these sleeves, they're very pretty. This deck means a lot to me because it was the second EDH deck I ever made, and I love this thing. Like, I don't break this deck out all the time because Paul is like, damn, you're playing Angels. All my decks are bad against that. So I don't play it like all the time. It is a very, it's very flying heavy, duh, because there are a lot of Angels. And it's just kind of mana intensive in terms of like you want to get Angels out pretty early on. So there's like quite a bit of like mana rocks and things like that. But this deck is like totally fun, which, oh, by the way, I'll list my tapped out's always in the description if you want to like check out my decks, because all of these have decks on tapped out. I cannot promise that they're all updated. I'm just gonna say that. Like, some of these I don't know when was the last time I updated them, so I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, Angels is a deck not I play all the time, but a deck that I absolutely love. I'll probably never take this apart. Another deck that I'll probably never take apart is my Omnath Locus of Rage. Yeah. He's cool, dude. I got a foil one of him. He's really freaking sweet. This deck needs a couple of cards that need to be edited, and what I'm actually going to do after I film this is I'm going to go through each of the decks and I'm going to pull out cards that I'd like to take out, and I'm just going to move this here. Get to the hard stuff. We're talking about the easy stuff first. I love this deck. We'll never take this deck apart. Super fun. Like, so when I was talking earlier about how, like, foiling out Tasigur and whatnot, Angels, I have a lot of Angels in here that aren't in English and that are foil actually already, because one time I went to a card store and I ended up getting a ton of foils and like a ton of cards, and like I have like a ton of Russian Angels and Japanese Angels and Korean Angels, and Spanish Angels. It's really sweet. I have a lot of really cool stuff in here. So this is a deck that like I'd love to do that too eventually. I'd love to just foil and make all the cards be really pretty, because Angel's art is like one of my favorites, so I would definitely love to do that. Anyways, Omnath, I love this deck. It's very fun, it's very basic, it does, like, it's just mana ramp. It's just mana ramp, mana acceleration, and then getting dudes out with Omnath. It does it very well. It's a very inexpensive deck too, which I really like. I think like now it's probably a little bit more, but again, I haven't updated Tapped Out in like a really long time, so I don't know. Cards have probably changed for this deck, but it's a very basic deck. This is another deck too that I'd like to get fancy lands with. Angel's not so much because it's monocolored, but like I'd love to get like the red-green shock land and the red-green fetch land, because there are some cards that I have in here that get like specialty lands, and it'd be cool if I got like more intensive. Which, if you guys have recommendations for lands in Omnath that you think I should throw in, like red-green lands, that would be really cool. I do have the bounce land, and I have the Fertile Thicket, I think that's what it is. It's like the one where like you look at the top 5 and you put a land into your hand and then you put the rest on the bottom of your library. It's not like amazing, but I mean I have it in there, but I do like, I want to throw some specialty lands in here just because this deck literally is just lands. It's like lands and mana acceleration, so it's what it's all about kind of thing. I love this deck. It's super fun. This is a deck that I probably won't need much tweaking because it just needs like mana ramp, and that's all it kind of needs. We're doing really well because this has all been super positive stuff. We'll get to like the nitty gritty. Then we have Ladies 5 color, which I did a deck tech on a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I was longer than a couple weeks, like a couple months ago. I'm really happy with this deck. My commander is Sliver Queen, and I'm really, really happy with this deck. My thing is that actually what I kind of want to do is, I'm at the stage where like, I'm very happy, I just kind of need to tweak it a little bit. This is another deck that I really want to like put money into. Like there are a couple of cards, and I can't name them like off the top of my head because I really don't know what cards I need, because I just need to like look through, but this is one of those decks that like I will put money towards. Like those decks too, I don't mind putting money towards them because I know and I'm very confident that like I'll keep these decks forever or whenever I stop playing Magic, and I don't mind, you know, investing in them, especially too because I'm not playing Modern, so I don't mind like, you know, spending money, I would say, on like these, because I'm not spending money on Modern and I'm not worried about like sideboard and whatever. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with this deck. Also, I have a sticker on there to identify that this is Ladies because it's like the same color as Omnath, and that's really annoying. So I just put a sticker on it to indicate Ladies, and this is Jasmine, and it's really freaking cute. But yeah, so I'm very happy with this deck. And what I was actually talking to Paul about, I love this deck so much, but I think one day what's going to happen is I'm going to encounter this issue where there are too many Ladies, and I think what I kind of want to do is make like a second one, but have actually just all different cards. Like, and I say that and I actually mean that there won't be cards that overlap. Like, I will ensure that I don't overlap cards. And when I say that, again, I'm not talking about like Soul Ring, that's like obvious, but like creatures, I'm going to try not to repeat anything. Yeah, and like mana ramp I may be like a little bit whatever on. One card that I actually was thinking of getting in here, because I noticed when I was playing I have Captain Sissy, and I noticed that I really needed more creatures that mana ramped, just because the deck is very aggressive and I like that. So I was thinking of getting a Noble Hierarch for the deck because I was like, why not kind of thing. So I thought that would be really cool. So that's that. Love this deck though. Anyways, I do think I'm gonna do like Ladies Part 2, and it'll have like a cool, like, I don't know, have like a cool name. Like, I don't know. It'll be like Bring on the Ladies Part 2 or like something cool like that, because I don't know. But anyways, when I do that, I'd like it to be very different in terms of I'd like it to be more controlling and have more Planeswalkers. And I'll go back to that Planeswalker point when I talk about Super Friends. And here's kind of like the dilemma. This is where all that was easy talk before. This was all like getting cards and stuff. This is where it gets intense. This is where we get real. I have Yisan, the Wandering Yisan. That's actually the deck name. Yisan the Wanderer Bard. I built this deck a really long time ago, and it's mono green stompy. I mean, straight up. There's no other way to put it. And my issue with the deck is that I feel like, one, I feel like I play a lot of green, which Tassiger has green, Omnath has green, 5 color obviously has green, and Super Friends has green. So the only one that's not is like monocolored Angels. So for me, I don't really like that it's a mono green deck, and I feel like it kind of does similar stuff. Like I run similar cards in this than I do in other decks, and I just like other decks better than this one. I hate to like rank them because I don't really, I mean, they're all different and they all do different things, and I appreciate all of them. I don't know though, man. Just with this, with Yisan, it's like, I feel like I do the same thing. I feel like what happens is, because basically what the point of the deck with Yisan, and like what he does is he, you know, you put the counter on him and then you search for a 1-drop. And then a 2-drop, and then a 3-drop, and whatever, and I feel like I keep getting, like, the same creatures over and over again. And I don't really have a desire to, like, play the deck. And I don't know if I have, like, that much of money value in this, so I don't really know. But what I may end up doing is if I do end up taking this deck apart, I may do, like, an updated deck because I probably have cards that have changed since then. And I may, you know, kind of, like, go for it. Because I definitely do a deck before I take the deck apart, of course, but I don't know, I just feel like I don't find myself reaching for this deck, and, I don't know what I could do to change that. Like, I don't think I want to. I think I'd rather just kind of, like, take this deck apart and then, you know, kind of, like, go from there. So, that's what I was thinking for this. And then we get into, this is the really hard thing, which is Superfriends. And I really like this deck, and I think I like it a lot because it's different. Like, it's more control, but I feel like it's one of those decks that I just can't play all the time. Because I think, like, people get, like, upset and people get, like, annoyed, and again, the majority of the time that I am playing EDH is with Paul now, and so this is not a deck that I would play, like, 6 games in a row, you know what I mean? Tassiger, I could play 6 games in a row. Sometimes I don't want to because sometimes I do crazy things and, you know. Angels, I won't play that all the time, just because, like I said, it can be very aggressive and very mean. Omnath, I could play that all the time. And Ladies, I could definitely play all the time. Especially because with Ladies, like, there's so many different creatures in that deck. Like, I have, like, 40 creatures or something, so it's great. Because I run, like, totally different, you know, stuff, and it's great. I can do very different things. Like, I can play games and they won't overcross on cards, which is really sweet. But Superfriends I'm having a really tough time with because I feel like... And it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's definitely not that. I do enjoy it. It's that, like, when I play against someone and, like, I'm not having a great time, like, you know, because, like, Paul, for example, like, Paul has, like, his Rafik of the Many deck, which it's an Exalted theme deck. So it's about kind of like Voltron. It's like you Voltron, like, Rafik, and then you, like, give him double strike, and then you kill them with commander damage. It's a pretty basic deck. I mean, that's straight up what the deck does. You can, like, do that to one creature and just swing at them for, like, a ton of damage, but mainly it's for Rafik. But anyways, it's not like, 1v1 it was super mean, and so he has the deck still, but he won't take it apart. But he only he hasn't played it with me in, like, a very long time, and, you know, he won't unless, like, he's at, say, like, a game store and someone's being rude, and he's like, 1v1, let's play this. When I had Talorand, which I actually don't think I ever did a deck tech on, because I think it was before I started making videos, Talorand, super great dude. Every time you cast an instant sorcery, you make a 2/2 Drake. Really fun deck. It was very control heavy. Like, I didn't run, like, any creatures in that deck. I ran, like, straight up all spells. I ran counter spells, and I ran control cards. And as you can guess, it was a very rude deck. It was straight mono blue, and it was just mean. And then you just kill them with Drake tokens. Like, it was great. I thought it was really fun, but Paul got very annoyed, and he was like, I don't want, this is boring. So I took the deck apart, because I was like, whatever. I didn't put that much money into the deck, too. It was mainly, like, counter spells that were, like, 30 cents, so it wasn't an inexpensive deck. But anyways, like, he just wasn't having fun with it, and, like, he won't play Rafik because he just doesn't have, I don't have fun playing against it kind of thing. And Superfriends, I feel like he doesn't really have fun playing against it, and I don't want to, like, be an annoying person who plays their deck that you're like, this is awful. And some people have no issues with that. I do. That's just my whole thing, is I don't want to be that guy if people are like, oh, dude, she's playing that deck again. Yeah. The thing is, though, Superfriends is, I don't even think it's really good, honestly, in big groups, because you can just blow out all of my planeswalkers. Like, you know, if you're in a 1v1 situation, you can kind of control the board a little bit better, but if you're playing, like, 5 people, you have, like, all these different creatures swinging at your planeswalkers. It's just terrible, you know, and you can only run so much removal. It's just, you know, the slots are really tight in the deck. And that's why I think I have such a hard time with it, because I'm someone who's very removal happy. I run removal, too much removal sometimes in my decks. And sometimes it's really bad. I run so many board wipes in Abyss, and I run like 8 board wipes, and sometimes I have like 3 of them in my hand. It happens actually a lot, and I know it sounds kind of weird. It happens a lot of times where I have like 2+ board wipes in my hand. Because, you know, it's Abyss and board wipes. It's, you run a lot of creatures, then you run board wipes, then you blow up the board, but it doesn't affect yours because you've indestructible. Like, it's great. Yeah, so this is my current dilemma, and if anything, I'm not gonna, like, take any action, like, now. So what I may end up doing is I may, like, have, I may have Yisan, and what I may do is like, which I think this is kind of a cool idea, and I've actually never done it like this before, like take the deck and then, you know, like someone's like, hey, where are your trades? And I'm like, okay, here's my binder. Also, this deck, there are cards in here. If you see anything, pull it out and like trade them away kind of thing. That's what I may end up doing. I may not officially take the deck apart and then, you know, I don't even honestly know if there's like stuff as high value cost in this deck. I couldn't even tell you because I think I took a lot of the high value cost stuff and I threw it in other decks, or if I had like spoils and things. And I have like some proxies in here, not many. And I have all my full arts in here. This deck is entirely full arted. You know what I should probably do? I should probably put this Nykthos and take it and put it in Avacyn. So that's probably a good idea. But then what I was also kind of thinking is, I have this like really sweet foil scavenging ooze. That's kind of cool. I didn't even know I had that. Yeah, I don't feel like this deck has like a lot of value. But honestly, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe this deck has more value than I realized. But I don't feel like I have like any foils or anything like that in here. Oh, I run a Spore Frog. That card's really cool. This card actually may not be a bad card. Ooh, I see a foil. Ooh, this card's cool. Oh, I have a foil wing. I have a foil bellowing Tangleworm and a promo Reclamation Siege. That's cool. And then a foil Karametra's Alkaloid. I love that card. But yeah. See, other than that, I mean, there's really not like that much. There's really not that much value in here. I don't think. I mean, again, I don't know the last time I updated this deck. But like I said, before I do anything with this deck, before I take it apart, I'm probably just gonna do an updated deck check on it because this deck is like super fun. Again, I just feel like it does the same thing a lot of times. Like, I find myself getting the same 1-drops and the same 2-drops because I'm like, those are the best. And, you know, it just got boring, which, I mean, sucks. And again, I think I run a lot of decks that have green in it, and I kind of want to try something different. What I'm kind of thinking is, I don't have any plans to build any future EDH decks because, like I said, I want something different. I want something unique. And I don't want to do something that everyone else is doing. I know I'm a hipster. I know. Yeah, I don't want to build anything. I don't want to commit to anything. I know, though, for a fact, when I do something, I find like a lot of these decks are very aggressive. I want a more control kind of strategy, just because I find that a lot of these I run very aggressive creatures. Now, when I was talking earlier about making like Ladies Part 2, what I may do is I may even make like more lady decks. I think it'd just be really cool. I have also thought, and this is an idea which I'd like to get your opinion on, and I'm eventually going to do this deck because someone had asked me in the comments what the craziest deck idea I've ever come up with is, and I don't think it's like super crazy. I think it's just fun. There was a standard deck a while ago called Bees. I don't know if anyone remembers this. It ran like Hornet's Nest, and you like did damage to your Hornet's Nest and you got like tokens. This deck I came up with, it's Naya and colored, which is very unusual for me to do that color combination. And you run like things like Hornet Nest, Stuffy Doll, Blasphemous Act, Darien. Like you run all these creatures that the catapult card, like Squirrel, Acorn Catapult, like whenever you deal damage, things like that, City of Brass. Like you run things that do damage to yourself, and then when you do damage, things happen. It's a really cool deck. Anyways, I'm going to do a deck tech on it because I was like, this is fun and I want to do it. Another one that I came up with that I think is kind of a cool themed, and this would just be like totally for fun, but it's like a royalty themed deck, so it runs like knights and like princesses and like cool royalty and like scepters and like cool things like that. It's just an idea, but let me know if you guys would like to see that because it would just be like a fun, flavorful deck, and I'd probably film it like, film it through my computer, like kind of thing. I think that would be like a really fun deck idea because I originally started on, it runs like Royal Assassin, which that card's really sweet. But yeah, I don't know, it's just what I was thinking. I was thinking of doing a deck like that. I don't know if I would build that, like it'd be like a mock deck is what I'm assuming, but I'm thinking of doing other ladies and doing kind of like running different kinds of creatures. Another thing too that I really like in ladies that I'm very excited about that I did this is I'm running the Splinter Twin combo, and the reason why I'm doing this is one, because let's be completely honest, if Splinter Twin wasn't banned, I would be playing that deck right now. Like, straight up, no questions, I would probably still be playing Modern. Like, that deck is, like, my soulmate. Like, straight up, like, no. I don't have a male soulmate or anything. It's Splinter Twin. Like, that is it. I would still be playing that deck right now if it was allowed in the format, if it wasn't banned. So I run it in Ladies to kind of fill a void in my life that I will probably never get to cast the cast those cards in Modern. So I fill a void in my life by running it in the EDH deck. It was really funny though when I was buying it, people were like, you know that's banned in Modern. I was like, I'm running an EDH, dude. Like, there are other formats other than Modern, come on. But anyways, I'm running the combo in there and I really like it. There's 2 cards. Again, I don't have like that many tutors. I think, do I even have, no, I don't even have like any tutors in the deck. Oh, you know what? Another card I know I need that it's funny is that I'm just filming this and I remembered. It's a card that's used in Legacy. It's a white recruiter guard of the recruit, something like that. It's like a 2-mana 1/1, I think, and it's like when it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a creature with CMC 2 or less, or power 2 or less. I think it's power 2 or less, and you put it on the battlefield. Recruiter of the Guard, that's what it's called. It's white. I really need that card for ladies, and before I was like, meh, I don't really know about spending $15, but now I'm like, I kind of want to splurge and get like some cool cards. So that's like definitely something on the list. I want to get a Gavany Township for this deck, because that card's really good, and I really like it, so yeah. But I don't think I changed that many. I think, oh, I need a Staff of Domination too, but again, I have to look through this deck and see what cards I want to take out, because the deck list is really tight, so yeah, I think I'm gonna like leave you guys off there though. This was like my EDH rambles, real talk, real time real talk with Tracy, so yeah. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.